United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
From Corb. Here. Roker.
Here.
Shooty.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Actor.
Here.
5 present, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, approve the minutes of the November 8th, 2022 City Council meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Broker, second by Shooty to approve the minutes of the November 8th, 2022 City Council meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comment tonight? No public comment? Public hearing on 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy. Need a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Krieger, seconded by Korb to open the public hearing on the 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy. Roll call?
Corb. Yes. Roker.
Yes.
Shooty.
Yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Public hearing's open?
Yeah.
Go through the budget? Or?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Much appreciated. Where to begin? Let's begin with this year. As you see, you have a memo from me on your desk, and basically, it's important to know where we are kind of headed. So there are, let's see here, the cities of Appleton, Chilton, New Holstein, Kiel. I know there's another one floating around in there. Two Rivers and Manitowoc. And we are the very first city in 2 counties to completely replace our lead laterals. I don't know how to frame that from a public health standpoint, but drinking water out of lead pipes has been known to cause a lot of health issues. And we need to look no further than the Flint, Michigan incident, where that became a big issue. And we are the first city in those 2 counties to completely replace our lead laterals. So it really is a credit to decisions that have been made in the past, where decision makers have said, yes, we need to get this health hazard out of our city. And also, it's a combination of a priority of our utilities, our Kiel utilities, the water and water department and general manager of utilities, August, but also the American Rescue Plan Act funds, federal funds that came through the city and Manitowoc County, who matched them, but also the DNR and their lead service lateral replacement program. So all the way around, as you can see around town, it's a little torn up at the moment, but we also have a lot of nice resurfaced roads because of this project. So it's almost completely grant funded. I won't say it's all grant funded, but it's very close to being completely grant funded. And it's really a credit to the city of Kiel that we accomplished that this year. That's really as unattractive as things are under a road. From a government standpoint, we're not looking at new park equipment or anything like that, but really this is all things that needed to be done that got done this year, and it's just awesome. So I am super proud of the Kiel utilities and all the partners involved with this project. So that's great. Also on the utilities front, the Kiel wastewater treatment facility is nearing completion. This is a multi-year project, as we all know, and it's going to be functional. Am I correct on this, Chris? By the end of the year, it'll be able to take Land O'Lakes discharge along with everything else by January 1st. Okay, yep. So that's a big deal from an economic standpoint, from a city growth standpoint. We're making inroads on our waste treatment facility, so that's great. And also we added 3 more single-family homes, 7 condos, another duplex. We got 12 more units of new housing. And also it's important to count the other aspects of what we do or what happens in Kiel, like a new dental clinic over on Tekla Place. Beautiful. I don't know, I was coming in on 3257 just today, and I looked over to my right on the viaduct, and it's beautiful. It's a very nice entrance piece to the city of Kiel from that direction. It's gorgeous. So it'll be a very, very nice, nice place once it's complete. We also had the Shopko building renovated and repurposed into 2 separate stores, Ace Hardware and a Family Dollar. Even Meiselwitz Volstead Funeral Home, our City of Kiel traditional funeral home, had a nice renovation to it. And also St. Vinny de Paul completed an addition. So even over last year, think of the cost increases of building materials and all the supply chain issues that have occurred in 2022 versus 2021. We had about little over $15 million of building permits last year this time. And this year we're almost at $22 million, which is awesome. That really speaks to the vibrancy of the community. We're also growing. We, according to at least the state of Wisconsin, added another 43 people. We're getting close to 4,000. We're almost there, not quite. So 3975. And then they estimate we lost 16 and 18 people in Chilton and New Holstein. But Brilliant, and you might know this, they're getting bleed over from the Fox Valley over there. They added 225. Our EQV, which is our basically our equated value of the community, went up nearly 13% to 412. So we're starting to get close to $500 million of value in the city of Kiel, which is awesome compared, if you even take that on a per capita basis, like a per person basis, we punch way above our weight. We are a pretty valuable community when you talk about how many people live here versus what the value of the entire community is. So that's great. That's awesome. That's what you want to see. We're continuing our road resurfacing program. As we know with the lead lateral program, a lot of the downtown roads got resurfaced. 3rd Street north of North Street was, the cul-de-sac was redone. Also, we did an alley, which was much needed behind the post office that was severely damaged. So that's all well and good. And we're continuing to improve things that people want when they live in a community, things like trees. So we've almost completely abated all our ash trees, not completely, but almost. And then we're continuing to plant new trees in their place. Looking ahead, our revenue highlights include basically $1,576,563 in a levy, which is the allowable levy limit for Kiel's growth. That incorporates that. Our road aids slightly increased. We got a couple of new roads. Frontier Heights is one of them. Also, because we switched garbage providers recently, that went to $195, generally speaking, for a household. So that went up $40 a person, at least in the proposed budget. On the cost side, we're continuing to try to limit our costs. One of the ways that we're doing that is we have a 3-year program where, if you remember, we went from 12% employee, 88% employer, City of Kiel, share of the monthly health insurance premium. And we've been incrementally, year after year, ratcheting that up to the final goal is $15.85. So this year, the proposal is for 14%, 86%, and this is for non-union employees, hourly employees, salary employees too. While the union, generally speaking, it is officers, union officers are at $15.85. So that's part of their contract. We've stuck with the state. Now, I can speak from experience. Other communities and other units of government are experiencing double-digit increases. Valder School District is at 30% increase this year for their health insurance program. we stuck with the state plan, which is at most a 6.9% increase. And then when you take into account the different plan selections that, the different networks that are Aurora, Ascension, you know, all the different providers in the area, a lot of employees actually did opt for lower cost health insurance plans. And so the overall increase to the city is about 3%, as it says. So that's, quite frankly, in the big scheme of things, that's a win. Wages, we had good, healthy discussions with the Salary and Budget Committee on wages. We're continuing, we want to be an employer of choice. We know that we are in a very labor-intensive, competitive environment as an employer. And just to give you an example, Manitowoc County, who has a reputation, generally speaking, for being a more conservative employer, they are at 5% this year, and more than that for some positions. Dispatchers, I know, got a healthy increase coming in 2023. So anyway, again, it's important for us. We are in a competitive market with not only counties, but also other municipalities. So there's a base wage increase for non-union hourly employees of 5%. And the union employees, the police officers, per their contract, have 3%. There's also wage band adjustments that are recommended tonight. Seasonal staff, this is one of the positions that we're having a tough time recruit. We had 4 positions that were vacant this last summer, to include, not only people who clean bathrooms and garbage cans and fill flower pots, but also even in City Hall, the person was able to get in a job as a nanny that paid more than we paid here at City Hall. So we didn't have anyone all summer, which is what it is. But this new schedule rewards experience, and it rewards staying with the city. So year 1, $15.50, 16, $16.50, 17, and if someone's using their CDL, which sometimes they do, some of our seasonal employees do have a CDL, $20 an hour. We also looked around a little bit at our admin positions, the utility clerk, deputy treasurer. This is the wage band for the city of Plymouth Utilities for their utility account manager. So this is someone who just basically takes payments, manages the utilities accounts. It's $25.39 to $28.38. General Manager of Utilities, Chris August, can speak maybe a little more to this if you have questions, but basically, in order to keep the wage scheme consistent within the utilities, we're looking at adjusting both the operator 1 and lab tech. Those are higher specialized positions. Those are 2 licenses for the water and wastewater, and then a lab tech is also a specialized position, $25.66 to $32.04. We talked earlier this year in summer about the Kiel ambulance service and their demands as an employer. That's within that resolution as well for paramedics, AEMTs, EMTs, etc. And also we already adjusted Kiel Police Department positions for, again, a very competitive, heavily competitive labor market for them. Supervisory positions are listed here. City Administrator 108, Chief of Police. This is now prorated on the start date of the new chief and captain. These two, both the Chief of Police and Police Captain. And lastly, General Manager of Utilities. Those are all listed there. And then lastly, you'll see basically a chart of pay progression for hourly employees. And I've gone through all my performance reviews. I know Chris has also done his. So these are based on good reviews of the employee and looking for approval on those. Lastly, because we have a number of those changes up in what I would consider the operating budget, we did have to trim down our capital outlay budget. And that's really where the main transfer of our resources occurs in this budget. It goes from capital outlay to the operating account. So you would have seen a number about, I think it was about $330,000 last year. This year it's 242. So in order to make sure that we're covering the costs of what we're doing, our increases, our, all of the different things that we're looking to pay our employees and all of the rest, there's a transfer there, so it's less than last year. But what are we doing within that budget? We are in the last payment of a market adjustment for what's called a market adjustment for assessments. I would call it, in layman's terms, kind of a curbside assessment. So it's not going in your house. This is someone who's going to, our assessor is going to, go house, place to place, do an assessment, but make the adjustments according to market, market standards. So that's going on. We're also trying to resurface the stairs at City Hall, which have been flaky and crumbling, at least since I've been here for 5 years. The cooling system at City Hall is not functional or not reliable, so we're looking to replace the cooling system. Our boiler system works great, as you can tell, but the cooling system is not. Radio replacements to the tune of $20,000 for the Kiel Fire Department. We're looking to resurface half of Carl's Sports Terrace, so half the soccer fields this next year. Replace a squad and outfit it. Update the financial system, which I know is something that's not the most attractive thing in the world, but it's extremely helpful, and it'll make a lot of things more efficient, both for administrative staff and I think also for employees. And then replace 10 storm sewers. The proposed tax rate is listed there. So we're going from, let's say, in Manitowoc County, $530.53 per $100,000 of value. The proposal is for $559.26 per $100,000 of value. And then in Calumet County, a little bit lower, $522 and 13 cents per $100,000 of value to $549.51 per $100,000 of value. I guess what I would tie it up with is what are you getting for that? You're getting improved roads. You're getting a reliable public safety system. I really think that when you look around the city, you can see the accomplishments, look in the parks. So hopefully people think that they're getting value for the money that they're paying to us, to the city. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, at the moment.
Any questions from the council?
On the capital outlay, I neither see the dam nor the footbridge. Are those not expected to be worked on this next year, or is that a different fund that I'm missing?
So when you look at the capital outlay spreadsheet, if you look at 2023 borrowing, which is going to be the second column here,
Okay,
and you look down and there's the dam,
yeah,
and you look down and there's the footbridge,
okay,
it is not in capital outlay because even if there's no way that we could afford it in capital outlay no matter what.
okay,
Now these are pure. So you'll see $250,000 for the dam, and you'll see $500,000 for the footbridge. This is not by any means a final number.
okay.
What I will tell you though is by this Friday is the cutoff day for the bids for the footbridge.
Okay.
So we'll at least have some version of a decent number to work off of for replacing the pedestrian bridge over, that connects Hingis Park by the library and Stolting House. So that's a good thing, good, bad, or ugly, right? And then we are still trying to work through the DNR and the dam and all that, but I don't even know what to tell you on that one. But on the flip side, the foot, it's just all hung up. The footbridge, though, that is absolutely a project that we need, should morally do next year because it is leaning.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to get replaced.
I have
But-
okay.
No, I'm sorry, go for it, Alderperson Chu, I'm sorry.
I have one other concern. I'm sure you're aware, the DPW facility.
The mic. Yep,
Oh.
yep.
I'm sorry, the DPW facility, where is this next budget gonna take us with getting that replaced?
Yep, so Jamie, am dealing with the general fund stuff. Chris, we're gonna get to the utilities budget as part of all of this too. And his budget will deal with advancing that project.
Oh.
He's got money in his budget for engineering, am I lying? Okay, yeah, engineering and other,
And purchase of property.
okay,
Oh.
and purchase of property to keep that moving along too.
Good,
Yep,
good.
yep, I
Thank you.
appreciate the question. No, those are good.
Okay, any other questions on the presentation on the budget?
Do we need a motion to accept the presentation?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're still in the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
Anything else for the public hearing? Okay, can we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing on the budget.
Second? Oh,
Okay, motion by Krieger, seconded by Shooty to close the public hearing on the 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy. Roll call.
Corb.
Yes.
Broker.
Yes.
Shooty.
yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, number 7, consideration of the 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy. You want to take these in order here? We got a resolution, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. If you want to consider the wage resolution first, that might be the best. That'll cover basically 7A.
7A.
Yep, and all the sub-items.
We want to take these sub-items separately? You want to lump them together? You heard what they were. I can read them off if you'd like.
I'd like to take them
Or-
individually.
Individually? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we gotta go through wage band, each one of these individually. So, number 1 for seasonal staff, summer help, cemetery caretaker, park caretaker, and drop-off site staff. Year 1 would be $15.50 per hour, year 2 would be $16 per hour, year 3 is $16.50 per hour, year 4 is $17 per hour, and working when using a commercial driver's license is $20 per hour. What's your pleasure on that?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any further discussion? Motion by Broker, second by Actor to approve the seasonal staff salaries as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, operator 1, the wastewater, water and wastewater, that's increasing the range to $25.66 to $34.02 per hour.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's gonna be right down. Right there. About middle. If you look at the red. Under multiple utilities on the far right. Yep, I just wanna make sure.
It's 3402 or 3206? 3402. Is the lab technician?
Yep, yeah, 2566, 3402.
Sorry, I'm
Yep,
sorry, Gene,
yep,
I see it.
Yep,
3402.
yep, midway,
Okay.
and then, well, the next one is gonna be at the bottom towards
Yeah,
the top.
thank you.
All good, yep.
I make a motion to accept the wage ban for operator 1 wastewater
Yep.
and water treatment facility.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Motion by Korb, seconded by Krieger to approve the operator one wastewater wage band, 25.66 to 34.02 per hour. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Hey,
Opposed?
No.
We got four,
3,
one.
4 to 1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, number 4, Kiel ambulance service positions.
Oh, the lab tech.
Lab.
Well,
Yep.
It's
okay.
okay, sorry,
Yep.
lab tech.
Yep.
Laboratory technician at the wastewater treatment plant, set the wage band from 25.66 to 34.02 per hour.
the motion to approve the laboratory tech position wage band increase to 25.66 to 34.02 an hour.
A second on that one?
Yeah, please. Second.
We've got one. Okay, any further discussion on this one? Motion by Shooty, second by Korb to approve the laboratory technician wage band at 25.66 per hour to 34.02 per hour. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
4 to
Okay.
1, Mr. Mayor.
4 to 1. Okay, the Kiel ambulance service positions. Various, see the resolution.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor,
got-
basically, this is something, again, we discussed over summer. It's, being competitive with area ambulance services, for what we pay our staff.
I make a motion to accept the wages for Kiel ambulance service position, various positions.
Second.
You want me to read these off? Or
Yeah, would you?
I can. Any further discussion? No further discussion? All right, we've got, I'll read it off in the motion. We've got a motion by Korb, second by Octor to approve Kiel ambulance service positions. Paramedic goes to 1756 to 1971. Basically, your $2 increases. Their in-house staff, AEMT, goes to 1356 to 1575. That's $1 increase. EMT staff to 1155 to 1364. That's $1 increase. EMR from 944 to 1152. That's $1 increase. Paramedic on-call flat rate to $11. That's $1 increase. AEMT on-call flat rate from $9 to $10, $1 increase. EMR EMT on-call flat rate from $750 to $850, $1 increase. Those are the increases for the ambulance service. Okay, so that's the motion by Korb, second by Octor.
Is this one a resolution?
This is on the resolution, yes, Attorney Young. So they're going through individual parts of the resolution, which is the prerogative.
I can do a roll call.
What you might end up doing at the end, though.
At the end,
Just
Yeah,
approve the whole
yeah.
resolution.
Yep, okay, as amended or not, or whatever.
Okay, so we got a motion by Korb, second by Octor to approve the ambulance service positions as read. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, Kiel Police Department positions, various, see resolution.
Actually, this has already been approved, Mr. Mayor.
Oh,
So, I mean, it's on there.
that's.
I just wanted to, just point it out.
These are all the union.
No, these are the part-time officer wages that we had to increase due to
Okay.
the fact that we
Okay.
weren't getting anyone.
you only
So,
approved these a couple months ago.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So this
Already
is
approved.
just me pointing it out. Here they are. Life goes on.
Okay, supervisory positions is, city administrated to $108,000 per year. Chief of police,
I have a question on the chief of police. When's your official,
That's not me, that would be Captain Jack.
no, your official date of retiring? January
That was
10th.
my last.
Okay.
That's when he would take over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, and his salary go into effect.
Yep.
Same with the captain, the next one.
Okay.
Those are competitive rates to the area.
The, chief of police, $100,000 per year, and police captain, $84,000 per year, general manager of utilities, $112,113.79 per year. Any questions on this?
I do have a question in regarding, and this is just a question, if the committee, the salary and budget, how did we, what metrics did we use for the the city administrator, general manager, and utilities? I see it's about a 9.25% increase. What metrics do we use to get to that
It was
number?
It's 8.
8%.
It's 8%?
It was 8%.
Yeah, it was 100 before, and, well, I can only speak for my position.
Yeah, so it's an 8% increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is actually based on comparables.
Okay.
So if you were to survey area communities, there are people with less experience getting paid more.
Okay, I just, I think it's information the public likes to hear too.
Yep,
Sure.
How did we come
And
up
that's a
with that?
legit question.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, understand what metrics or what was used to get us to that.
Yeah.
number.
Yep. And it was a survey that the area cities that are similar in size, et cetera. Yep. And then the other factor always is, experience, like
Sure.
service, all those.
All those things do factor.
Yep.
into-
Yep.
And like I said, B and C, I think that's a competitive rate for those positions, according to what other departments our size and bigger opinions.
Correct.
And in answer to part of the question, Alderman Korb, it seems to me when I remember the discussion about the administrator and perhaps the general manager pay, they were both performing multiple job positions compared to other communities. For some reason, I want to say there was a city administrator and an assistant city administrator, and that got rolled into one, or it was something with emergency management too. There were separate people doing part of the job that our administrator does.
I don't recall that. It doesn't matter. I mean, from the perspective, I just was wanting to know how we got to the wage.
Oh,
the
yeah.
wages.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we do these individually too?
If you like, can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, for the city administrator, 108,000.
I make a motion to approve the city administrator's pay of $108,000.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Motion by Korb, second by Shudi to approve the city administrator's salary at $108,000 per year. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right, the chief of police at $100,000 per year, prorated to start date of the new chief.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Motion by Shuey, second by Broker to approve the chief of police salary at $100,000 per year. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Numbers, or letter C, police captain at $84,000 per year, prorated to start date of the new captain.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Motion by Broker, second by Shudi to approve the police captain's salary at $84,000 per year. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General manager of the utilities at $112,113.79 per year.
I make a motion to approve the general manager of utilities at $112,113.79 per year.
So we went from 22 to 23 at
So it's 8%.
8%.
8% is what that wage increase is, yes. That's what the Salary and Budget Committee recommended for those positions.
We got a motion, do we have a second? No second?
I definitely think that the salary isn't outrageously high for the position that the general manager of utilities does. The wastewater treatment facility takes a lot of work. The utility electrical grid takes a lot of work to make sure that, from an industry standard, that we have that type of equipment being used. And then we have the rely on the salaries in line with what other utilities are probably paying, but don't have the type of service that we have.
I agree. I think that we've got utilities manager running 3 businesses for us in the city here, and taking care of the construction.
And half of the DPW.
Construction projects in town too.
You know, when you
so
really think about it,
it's-
I mean, there should be 3 people doing 2 people's work, you know.
One of the things we did eliminate was the director of DPW too,
Yes,
so.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, he's running around the city making sure that things are getting done properly on construction projects. I don't at all, I'm not, I'm not qualified to even
No, I don't- and
think
I-
about doing something like
I
that.
do know that Chris responds well.
Yeah.
Alec, our environmentalist, has called Chris numerous times. Chris has answered the call or has followed up the email, so I do know that. From a customer standpoint, from a large business standpoint, great customer service.
I make the motion.
well, there's a motion on the floor, we need a second. You want-
Whichever one I need to be.
You want a second?
Sure,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Any further discussion on this one? Okay, we've got a motion by Corp, second by Shuey, to approve the general manager utility salary at $112,113.79 per year. Roll call?
Korb,
Yes.
Broker,
No.
Shooty,
Yes,
Krieger,
Yes.
Proctor.
Yes.
4-1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, base wage increase for hourly non-union positions of 5%. That's all the other positions.
Correct, and keeps us competitive
Yep.
as an employer with our area municipalities and counties.
And with inflation where it is right now, I think the budget committee felt 5% was pretty fair.
well, I will go ahead and I'll make the motion for non-union positions, increased by 5%. My understanding is even social security's going up by 8%, so
8.7.
8.7. Woo-hoo.
So how much are
Pay
the
raise
groceries
for
But
me.
not pensions.
Well, pensions are a different animal.
Yeah.
That's based on the stock market.
I do make a motion to go ahead and approve the base.
Yeah, we've got a
She's got
motion,
a
we need a
sorry,
second.
I'm sorry. Second.
Seconded?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Motion by Shuey, second by Corb, to approve the base wage increase for hourly non-union positions at 5%. Roll call?
Korb,
Yes.
Broker,
No.
Shooty,
Yes,
Krieger,
Yes.
Proctor.
Yes.
4-1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So we've got, next one.
Yep.
Consideration of wage band progression adjustments for certain employees effective January 1st.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and it's a little more complicated this year than other years, and that's because of the wage band adjustments that were just approved. So basically what this is doing is advancing, and you'll see in the notes why they are listed, where they're listed. Good reviews. I mean, I count among myself so fortunate to have such great coworkers, to be totally honest, all the way around, top down. We are lucky to have the people we have working for us. Definitely earned, and that's why you're gonna see a lot of good reviews on there, wage progression, we're trying to, again, incentivize them to stay, with the
Jimmy, can
city.
you shrink it a little
I
bit
am so
that we
sorry.
see the whole- okay.
Yeah, it gets a little small
Yeah.
there, I apologize. But yeah, in the big scheme of things, again, this is one of our retention tools, one of our ways of staying competitive, and this is our wage band progression, for our employees, so.
I make a motion, the wage band progression adjustments for certain employees effective January 1st, 2023. Say that right?
You did.
We worked at that, remember?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I thought we did.
Is there any specific questions
No,
I
I
can
just
try to
want-
answer? I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. I knew it, we looked at it, I just wanted to make sure that I read it the same way again, so.
Okay.
I need a second.
I second, yeah.
Any other discussion on this, on the wage band? Okay, we've got a motion by Actor, second by Korb, to approve the wage band progression adjustments for certain employees effective January 1st as, 2023 as proposed. Roll call.
Korb,
Yes.
Broker,
No.
Shudi,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
4-1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, C, consideration of amendment to employer health insurance cost share in the Kiel Employee Policy Manual and Handbook.
And this is an adjustment to the handbook cost shares that are listed. Again, we're on a 3-year program to shift cost shares, for health insurance, 1% a year over 3 years. Proposal this year is going from 87 to 86 for the employer, and the employee would cover, from 13 to 14%.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion on this one? Okay, we got a motion by Broker, second by Korb, to approve the employer health insurance cost share in the Kiel Employee Policy Manual Handbook. Takes the, I'll just read it off, it takes the employer percentage to 86 and the employee percentage to 14%. Roll call.
Korb,
Yes.
Broker,
Yes.
Shudi,
Yes.
Krieger,
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, D, consideration of the 2023 capital outlay and special projects plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I kind of outlined this in my memo. We're by no means done with our projects for next year, but this at least gets us going on 2023.
Make a motion to approve the 2023 capital outlay and special projects.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this?
Just a question.
Sure.
When is the, TID redistrict, or, not redistrict, the TID for,
Recreation plan?
the committee to review that,
It's not been-
financial plan?
Has been scheduled.
Hasn't been scheduled, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah,
think
when
the,
it does get scheduled, there, you'll see the typical, there's either been a meeting edition or a meeting in December, or, you know, the typical meeting notice kind of thing that I send out. You'll see it on there, but no, there hasn't been anything scheduled to
Because
place.
I think the dam repairs would fit nicely into that.
Yeah, I don't think that type of infrastructure would, would be,
Allowed.
yeah, allowed only because, and the only reason I say that is because it has to have a direct beneficial effect on the TID in order to qualify. So I can look into that. I'll be more than happy to, I will. I'll make a note of that.
Well, I
But
think it needs to be done regardless.
it definitely
My
does.
question
Yeah.
is, how does it get paid for?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're at borrowing because it's a general fund expense.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, any other discussion? I got my notes here right. Got a motion by Corb
Yes.
on this one, second by Krieger.
Yep.
All right.
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
To approve the 2023 capital outlay and special projects plan is presented. Let's do a roll call on this one too.
Corb. Broker.
Yes.
Shooty.
Yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
All right, E, consideration of the 2023 City of Kiel organization chart.
Just our personnel chart for next
Yeah.
year. Yep, nothing has changed outside of any changes that we made over last year, which we haven't.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? Motion by Broker, second by Krieger to approve the 2023 City of Kiel organizational chart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, I don't know. The library, does that mean 9 people report to the librarian?
Well, part-time.
They're all
Part-time.
part-time.
Okay, that's
Yep.
what I thought it meant, I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all part-time.
Yeah.
Okay, that motion approved. F, consideration of the 2023 Fire Protection Services Agreement with the Town of Schleswig.
We increased the fire department budget by 2% overall in their operating budget, so we have a 2% increase to the town of Schleswig for their fire services cost. So in the overall budget, for public safety, the police department, fire department, municipal court, all go up, they went up 2%. And so for the fire services agreement, what we've done in the past is increase the cost share to the town of Schleswig by the exact same percentage that the fire department went up. So we're charging them 2% more than we have in the past on this agreement.
Do they know this already?
Yes.
Okay.
They have it, yep.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? Motion by Broker, second by Krieger to approve the 2023 Fire Protection Services Agreement with the Town of Schleswig. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, consideration of final approval of the 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy. Salary and Budget Committee recommended approval 3-0.
Motion to consider the final approval of the 2023.
To approve it?
To approve the city. Make a motion to approve the final approval of the 2023 city budget and tax levy.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Motion by Korb, second by Actor to approve the 2023 City of Kiel budget and tax levy as proposed. Roll call.
Corb.
Yes.
Broker.
No.
Shooty.
Yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
4-1, Mr. Mayor.
9, consideration of the 2023 Kiel Utilities budget, Kiel Electric Utility, Kiel Water Utility, and Kiel Wastewater Utility Salary and Budget Committee recommended approval 3-0. Chris?
Yeah, so I'll start with the electric utility.
please. The mic.
So we'll start with the electric utility. That budget stays very similar to last year. There's some slight increases due to cost and what inflation is. The major capital outlay for the utility for electric is $25,000 for a trencher machine to get in the backyards. We were finding that's more needed now with some of the conversions. Building engineering of $90,000 for the new building for DPW and electric. And then, there's $140,000 in that for the, purchase of property, in that, from the electric utility. Now, that didn't make, $140,000 didn't make it into this line, this original draft or whatever. Jamie didn't have that number put in there when I gave it to him.
You mentioned something, Chris, about a trencher, that we needed a smaller trencher. Did we not just buy something recently, a year
We-
or two ago? that was
We
a
bought
smaller
the,
backhoe?
the mini excavator,
Okay.
which worked well for digging the, you know, works well for digging the trenches or whatever, but when we get into some of the backyards
Yeah.
on some of these, fenced-in properties and smaller properties, the trencher will be far more economical, to get that service in. We're gonna be converting a bunch of the inner part of the city to underground in
Okay.
backyards, so.
And just, leasing something like, not leasing, renting something like this from Quashis or something like that, is that more feasible, or are we gonna get, because what is a mini excavator? Not-
25,000 is what it's looking at,
Okay,
so.
but
um,
renting something like that today?
A lot of times we're limited, on the depth. We can get ones for the Bobcat, but we can't get ones for the depth to get, we need to be greater than 3 feet. Generally, the bars on the ones we can rent are only 3 feet or 24, and sometimes it's hard to get that 3 foot out of over 3 foot out of 3 foot, so.
Okay.
I have a question on the land purchase.
Yep,
Is this the parcel of land that we talked about originally?
immediately south of the existing facility.
And there is some swampland area there?
Yep,
Now, do we have a confirmation from the DNR that, yes, we can build there?
we're working on that right now with
Because
the
I don't
engineers.
wanna buy that land
Yep.
and then not be able to use it.
Right, yeah, and that right now, we're working with the engineer doing the environmental study and the wetland
I
study,
don't care
so
what
that,
the engineers say, it's what the DNR's gotta say.
right, and that'll
Because they
be,
got the final say.
yep, that'll all be part of that
Thank you.
study, so, yep.
I was gonna say, there's no title transfer until
You're
all
not,
that's
you're not
done.
approving a purchase right now.
No.
You're just
No,
approving
no,
a
no.
budget.
Just a,
I just had the question there,
Yeah,
okay?
no, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I know how the DNR operates. Mill is a prime example.
yeah. So that's the electric utility budget, for, 23. Water utility budget, again, remains very similar to last year. There are some numbers in there that you'll see that got taken out if, lead services, there was a budget number in there last year, which was grant funded, but that's no longer in there. We're doing, meter reading, basically meter reading, meter setups. The cost on that material has gone way up, so there's a slight increase on that. And then our cost share with the, office expenses for the new, utility software. But the main capital outlays there, we're planning next year in the water utility, $15,000 for hydrant work and $15,000 for valve replacements. These are valves that we're having trouble operating and some of the oldest hydrants in the city. It works out to be about, for the hydrant work, it only works out to be about 3 hydrants for that dollar number because of the cost of hydrants now. So,
Chris, I just have a question, and I think this is on the electric side. I'm not sure if it's on the water side. At one point in time, the discussion was that the meters would transmit that information, so there would no longer be a need for a meter reader. Is that happening in the next couple of years?
that's still in our 4-year plan with the apprenticeship program.
Okay.
Like, we're using an apprentice to be a meter reader, and by the time he gets to be a full lineman, that's our engagement into that full meter read,
Okay.
all electronic, so.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the last budget I have is the wastewater budget. These numbers do fluctuate quite a bit from last year. A lot of it is due to the new processes we have. within the facility. Some of the polymer costs because of the new system, the new dryer costs, are all accounted for in this budget, along with the increases in revenue from the industry as they ramp up. So the costs are offset by the new rates for the industry and the waste load that we're expected to see. The major capital outlay for wastewater, and really it would be replacement funded, is a pickup truck for $47,415, and then a new lawnmower, looking at doing a zero-turn lawnmower once the facility gets all placed back together for lawn maintenance. But that's the major capital outlays, which actually will become a replacement funded item, so.
Chris, the lawnmower situation, so it would just stay down at the wastewater treatment facility, or would you use it as a city unit?
No, it would just be solely at the wastewater. Right now, we have our own garden tractor that we utilize there, and this would,
Would that not be, wouldn't that lawn be cut under the city, seasonal work and using that lawnmower?
well, we use our seasonal work that we have directly at the wastewater to
Right.
cut that grass. The wastewater being the way that it's makeup or whatever, our larger park ones don't work well for cutting, with
Those
the,
are zero turns, aren't they?
those are zero turns, but with, things you have to go around and the elevation changes at the wastewater plant, those machines are a little bit big with the deck, so that's why we don't. They do like the front up to the fence coming
Sure.
in, like they'll help us out with that and do it, but then once we get into the plant, going around stuff, that we generally have our own lawnmower smaller to be able to maneuver more readily within that facility.
Okay. And then what truck, so we're buying a new truck, what are we trading in, or what are we bidding in?
So we are gonna be getting rid of our 2007 Ford. Yeah, 2007 Ford that we have. It's our current plow truck.
Okay.
So.
Chris, do we have a seasonal person down, that cuts the grass down there?
We do. The wastewater has, there's one wastewater seasonal and one sewer seasonal.
Oh,
So there is, yeah, when
one
this,
of them cuts,
yeah, one of them cuts the grass, and the other one is a lot of times working on the sewer jetting and doing that with
Thank you.
one of the staff, so.
Okay, is that it, Chris?
Yep.
So we are looking for a motion to approve the 2023 Kiel utility budgets as proposed.
So moved.
second,
Any further discussion? Motion by Broker, second by Actor to approve the 2023 Kiel Utilities budgets as presented. Roll call.
Korb.
Yes.
Broker.
Yes.
Shooty.
Yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
yes,
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, number 10, repealing and recreating addendums A through F of the Kiel Employee Policy Manual and Handbook. Personnel Committee recommended approval 3-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basically, what we've done is have good discussions, good back and forth with the foremen, supervisors, and staff in multiple departments, and try to model a schedule that better fits for the department that it applies to. So that's what's before you tonight, is really a collaborative process for each of the departments that are listed, from Public Works, Utilities, City Hall. And the end result is, generally speaking, it's gonna be longer days and then a shorter Friday. So it will result in some hour changes for our most public-facing buildings, such as City Hall and the community center. But I think given the input from the employees, foreman, it'll result in a more efficient work schedule that works better for everyone. Again, very collaborative process, and we recommend approval from basically all of your employees.
You work with the hours of PTO and holiday? Are you still working?
Still working through that, yep. I guess what I would say is, there's gonna be some years that you would get paid a little better, and some years you're not gonna get paid as much. So it's gonna end up being a wash at the end of the day. But again, I'll go back to, let's not lose the forest for the trees conversation. We will work through that in a fair manner, and we can follow up with you, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, to make sure, that everything is going well, or if we need tweaks, we know where to find find our older persons, right? But in the big scheme of things, I think the most important thing is getting the schedules figured out and going from there.
Excuse me. Question for you, Jamie. In looking through the hours, are we in compliance with the federal wage and hour whatnots? Because sometimes I don't see a lunch time designated.
Yep.
but-
So I'll just give you the example of the Manitowoc County. Manitowoc County does 410s, 4 days a week when they're working in summer. They work right through, and it's their work schedule. I mean, they take a they take a brief break to eat lunch, but no, we're
If
not
it's 10
running
minutes
afoul
after
of
5 hours,
federal
yeah.
labor laws doing this.
Okay.
And it's also, again, not something that isn't being done in multiple other municipalities and counties, et cetera.
And again, I just
Yep.
don't want,
No, I understand. Yep.
to
It's a
put us
valid
in a
question.
bad way. And if I recall correctly, and it's been a few years, it's a 10-minute break mandatory after 5 hours.
Yep, and yes. Also, we do have to manage, and you'll see within here, if you read the fine print on some of the, especially the summer hours, we account for our seasonal staff who may be minors. So
Okay.
we need to absolutely have to make sure that they get a 30-minute lunch in an
Yes.
8-hour period.
Yeah.
So we're accounting for that.
Okay.
But adults don't necessarily have the same luxury that
Okay.
way. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
In that case, I will make the motion to approve the, what is it, the repealing and recreating addendums A through F of the Kiel Employee Policy Manual and Handbook, which received Personnel Committee approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? John, you had a question? Question?
No, I'm good. I answered it this one. Thanks.
Good for you. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay. Motion by Shudi, second by Actor to approve the repealing and recreating of addendums A through F of the Kiel Employee Policy Manual and Handbook. Roll call?
Corb?
Yes.
Broker?
No.
Shudi?
Yes.
Krieger?
Yes.
Actor?
Yes.
4-1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, number 11, consideration of the amendment to leave of absence policy in the Kiel Employee Policy Manual and Handbook, the Family Leave and Medical Leave Act.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We considered this also at the Personnel Committee meeting. We've had 2 FMLA requests in the last probably 4 months. And tell you what, a lot of learning went into it. A lot of clarifications and, getting information and those types of things. But one of the things that in particular, Chris and I have asked ourselves throughout that process is, at the city of Kiel, we have a 1 day per month earned sick leave policy We don't have a city-provided short-term or long-term disability program. Employees can go to third-party providers for catastrophic, short-term, long-term disability. But we as an employer do not provide that because the history and the tradition of the city of Kiel has been that sick leave policy. 1 day a month, 12 days a year. You can bank up to 111 days worth of sick leave, which the decision makers of the city have basically said that that's your short-term, long-term disability policy. So when we encounter items, whether they're planned or unplanned, that fall under FMLA, we're looking to standardize across the organization our policies on what we follow when someone needs to have an absence that qualifies. So what this policy effectively does, and you'll see it in that middle very red paragraph there, what it's saying is that for all FMLA related leave, sick leave will be used until exhausted. So it's using that earned benefit as an employee of the city for these types of incidents. So anyway, that's really the crux of what this is in front of you, other than some cleanup and clarifying language. But it's telling the employee, it's telling the employer that sick leave will be used if an employee is going to be off for those types of reasons. When that's used up, then the employee has options such as their comp time that they've earned, such as their vacation, or taking unpaid leave. But what this policy effectively does is uses sick leave until exhausted. And I will say one last kind of safety net in all of this is the fact that if an employee uses up all their sick leave, uses up all their PTO, their paid time off, any version of compensable time, they can ask the group of employees, their coworkers, for a sick leave donation. We have a program as part of our handbook too, where other employees can donate sick leave time to an employee. So there's that option too. But this mandates use of sick leave if the employee has it.
Is this for not, are the union members part of this, or they have their own?
I don't know.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this covers all non-union employees?
This policy change would, yes. Just one little caveat. In the union contract, as part of the update that we did, they do have sick leave sick leave donation, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's all part of
I
it
didn't know
too.
if they were covered
Yeah.
in a different contract, which I
Yep.
assumed they were. The only other thing, I read in there, first sentence, second paragraph, employees requesting family leave related to serious health conditions of child and spouse or parent. I know family medical leave is covered under family or individual. I don't know if parent is a qualifying factor for family medical leave.
Yes, it is. It can be a child, a dependent, usually the parent is a dependent or requires additional care. And FMLA is a program, I think it's up to a maximum of 6 weeks, but they can take it in segments.
Well, I know, yeah, that's intermittent, but, and you just wanna maybe check the parent side, because as a dependent, the parents wouldn't be a dependent, classified.
They can be.
medically necessary.
Yes. Yep.
I would just double check it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
noted, yep.
I got one question for clarification. Right near the top of the screen, eligible employees may request family leave only after having, and you're striking, completed 365 calendar days.
Ye-
Were the requisite number of qualifying hours. What is a requisite number of?
So this is where the differentiation occurs between like Wisconsin qualifying FMLA and federal FMLA. So there's two different thresholds. This is all part of the fun of researching all this stuff. One is, I want to say it's like 1,050 hours, and the other one's
It's
1,200?
$1,000 for the state of Wisconsin.
Go ahead, just say it in the microphone,
It's
John.
$1,000 for the state of Wisconsin, you get 80 hours provided by the state. It's 1,250 by the.
Thank you,
federal.
yes.
And then
And that's why I made it general, just in case, like, the employee would qualify for Wisconsin and not for federal. So that's why I kind of made that more, they have to qualify for it.
The other thing you may want to write, and maybe it's in here, and I didn't see it, but they have to be employed by the city for 1 year. That is a qualifying factor for FMLA.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Full-time equivalent hours of 1 year.
Well, I think the requisite number of qualifying hours prior to the start of the FMLA, we'll just assume that whatever, even a year, whatever,
Because it
that's
wouldn't-
covered under it.
Because it wouldn't qualify for someone who's been here 8 months. And even though they had 1,250 hours.
Point taken,
Okay.
yes.
We want to maybe say per state and federal guidelines.
So this is where we can get really heavy in the weeds on this.
Without specifying a number.
Yeah.
If they ever change it, then we don't have to come back in here and change the number or current state. and
I'm
federal
trying to leave it general.
This is general enough so you wouldn't have to change numbers. You'd follow the law.
That's what I was shooting for.
Yeah.
And
That's why it was
why-
written.
And that's why I said state and federal, because otherwise this looks pretty vague.
Because you're the administrator of the FMLA, we don't have third-party administrators.
Nope,
of the FMLA.
you
So you're
don't.
gonna determine whether or not someone qualifies or doesn't qualify.
And I will be doing research,
Yeah.
heavy research, guaranteed, because when they crop up, it's something I don't deal with very often, given 27 full-time employees,
Right.
right? Yeah, I don't,
Because
so I look into it right away.
It's a complicated world.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I did a quick check on your question, John. Under Wisconsin law, an employee is entitled to take FMLA to care for a parent, including parent in-laws,
Okay.
child or spouse with a serious health condition.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
yeah, I didn't know either, so. we
Yeah,
all learned
no,
something.
thank you.
You know, maybe we should just even cut that back a bit and just say, eligible employees may request family leave or family, FMLA leave, period. If it meets current standards. And then you get rid of the requisite number of hours because it fluxes with different job positions as to whether it's hours or days or length of time, but I do think it is a year, regardless. But that would just, eligible employees may request family medical leave, period, subject to current industry standards. And then as those standards flux or whatever,
Mr. Attorney, you got any ideas?
Well, industry standards is pretty vague too, so I don't know what that would mean. I mean, if you're tying it to the state and federal, to me, that would make some sense, because then you do have a standard.
Yeah.
You say, some vague.
Eligible employees may request family leave subject to federal and state law.
I think then at
There
least
you
you're
go.
tying it,
Bingo.
I think
Done.
you're tying that into something
All
that's
right.
saying state and federal law, so
Bingo.
all the person broker, that would be.
We're good. Subject to federal and state law. Let's do that.
I'll make a motion to approve with that change as suggested.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Motion by Broker, second by Shooty to approve the leave of absence policy for the Kiel employees. Policy, manual handbook for family and medical leave with the subjected to federal and state law changes. Okay. Roll call?
Corb.
Yes.
Roker.
Yes.
Shooty.
Yes.
Krieger.
Yes.
Actor.
Yes.
5-0, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, number 12, consideration of ordinance 603, creating section 7.085 and 7.086, allowing all-terrain vehicles, utility terrain vehicles, and golf carts. The ordinance committee recommended approval 3-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On your desk is just a substitute ordinance, which is just replacing the recommended ordinance with this. The substitute language in here is in red. So if you look on page 3, we're specifying which intersections golf carts, so this only applies to golf carts, can cross state highways. So, and again, 32, this really is 32 and 57, because any access to 67, well, 67 is 45 miles an hour and disallows golf carts to begin with. So Rockville subdivision is an island for golf carts. No golf carts can really get out of the subdivision. And that's something that we have discussed kind of sort of all along. ATVs, UTVs, absolutely. It's 35 miles an hour, that's fine. They can travel out of Rockville down, out of Rockville down Rockville Road into the city, and as long as they're not going up and down State Highway 67, they're fine. Everywhere else is good. But the golf carts is the one where 25 and under is what they're required to travel on. So what you end up with, bless you, is basically they're allowed to cross Fremont Street, but they can't park on Fremont Street. So if they want to go to a bar, restaurant, whatever, along Fremont Street, they're gonna have to park on one of the numbered streets, okay? But otherwise, they're not generally allowed on Fremont Street. So they're off limits on 32, 57 for our purposes, for that. So the crossings, listed in the ordinance are all the numbered street as you go basically from First Street to Sixth Street, and then St. Paul Street. So the east-west corridor over, you guys know where St. Paul Street is, for 3257. Really, when you look at the rest of that, that area though, there really isn't a direct intersection, going across 7th Street other than St. Paul. So that's why it's listed the way it's listed in the resolution, and that was the only change. Other than that, we are looking to, on the last page, so if you flip to the back, again, we're going towards a slower implementation of this ordinance. We still have to have an education effort, and I know Kiel Police Department Chief Funkhauser's been very upfront about the fact that he wants to, and I know the police department generally, Captain Janty, future Chief Janty, wants to have education sessions for people to let them know what the laws are for ATV, UTV golf carts in the city. And then the other part of it too is we don't have the signs purchased and the signs posted to comply with the law. So we still need some time, even if we pass this tonight, to get it implemented. And that's why you'll see the ordinance, we're looking for it to take effect on March 1st, 2023. Talked to DPW Foreman Robecki, Ian, about this, and he said, yeah, the ground might be a little rough, but we'll make it work, kind of thing. But we want this in place by spring, and I think, generally speaking, all the feedback that I've received, it sounds like the city definitely wants it. So,
Two things of note on that too. This will allow Chief Janty, when he takes over from me in January, to schedule training for our officers, to understand accident reporting involving these type of vehicles, and also enforcement of various laws. It's a completely different animal for us. He's already working with the DNR to get that training done. And then Wisconsin law for years now already allows the use of ATVs and UTVs for plowing during the winter. There's a separate law in the book, so this won't affect anyone who wants to use their ATV or UTV. There's a separate law for snow plowing that they can follow, and several residents do already, and they've done it for years. So we should be able to get through the winter and be able to get this in place in the spring.
And a snowmobile is still a snowmobile, nobody could construe that they would fall with their
No.
snowmobile underneath this.
No,
But,
that is correct. Snowmobiles are prohibited, other than on the trail system. And a special note to Jamie, and thanks for your help in working on this. And the
What?
citizens that
It's a
volunteered
group effort,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was
We had a
it
great
was great
citizen group.
teamwork by everybody involved, and
Yes,
it
we
was,
did.
it was pretty cool to see it come together.
Okay.
The only thing I mentioned to Jamie too before, and we talked this afternoon, is under the golf cart one, where there's the red highlighted changes. There's the, 4B where it talks, has the term public street. We've used in the ordinance consistently the term highway, so I just suggested that we take that, because we don't really have the word public street defined anywhere in the ordinance, so if somebody said, well, I'm on a public street, and we went to court and the judge is trying to figure out what that definition is, there is no definition of it. So I would suggest we just take what Jeannie had there with the red, the public street out, so it would start highways crossing, golf carts are allowed to cross, and then list those various ones.
Oh, that's how it was. Okay.
Just line out public streets.
Okay.
Highways has a very, as Chief Funkos knows.
All of them regarding motor vehicle laws don't even address streets. It's all public highways. Everything is considered a highway.
In view of this, I will make the motion that we adopt ordinance 603, allowing, creating section 7.085 and 7.086, allowing all terrain vehicles, utility terrain vehicles, and golf carts, with the ordinance to take effect on March 1st, 2023, with the correction noted, deleting street and inserting highway where appropriate.
second,
Public streets.
Leaving public streets.
Public street, I'm sorry, public street.
Any other discussion? Motion, was a second on that?
I did.
John? Okay, motion by Shuey, second by Broker, to approve ordinance 603, creating section 7.085 and 7.086, allowing all terrain vehicles, utility terrain vehicles, and golf carts to take effect on March 1st, 2023, and deleting any reference to public streets and inserting highways.